Hi, it's AlaskaGranny. We've certainly been through some hard times the last few months with the COVID-19, the shutdown of much of our commerce and the businesses in our communities, in our country, and all over the world. Groceries have been hard to find. Maybe you're like me and you were blessed that you had stockpiled ahead of time and you spent a lot of the last several months using the foods in your food storage pantry. I was happy that I had a nice supply. I was able to make all kinds of meals from the foods that I had on hand. But now that I've used those up, stores are opening again and things are beginning to become more available. It's time to restock your pantry. I placed a big order that I did a pickup at the grocery store, and things are still not exactly the way they were. You could put it in your cart, but then when you went to pick it up, they substituted things or they were just not available. And so while I was not able to get a lot of the things that I did want, I was able to get some of the foods that I want going forward to make sure that I have enough, because the future is just uncertain. There are upticks in the amount of coronavirus cases. There's civil unrest, there's protests. There are a lot of things going on in our country, which makes me glad that I have food on hand. I want to make sure that I do, so that I don't have to go to the store. I don't have to rely on the supply chain for my day-to-day meals. While we all prefer to eat the freshest, most delicious foods, that isn't always possible, especially the way the economy is going. A lot of the foods that we may have chosen in the past are either not available or they're extremely expensive, or you can only have a limited amount. So I've stockpiled up on things that I know I can use and make meals out of that keep my pantry full. I have a lot of canned beans, soups, granola bars, chili, tamales, things like that that I know how to make meals with. I was able to get a lot of pasta. I was even able to get some whole wheat pasta, but I was not able to get jars of sauce and only very few cans of tomato products. I like to stock up on the Idahoan dehydrated potatoes. You just add water, stir them, and they're ready to eat. I also like to stock up on the Betty Crocker muffin mixes in a pouch because you only need to add water. One of the ways that I like to make these muffins even better is to add a few frozen berries out of my freezer. I'll put a link if you want to know how I do that to make these muffins taste extra special and more like homemade. Since I've been eating my way through my pantry, I'm guilty, just as many other people are, of finding some very outdated, pushed way in the back cans of food that were way many years past their best by, sell by, use by date. It isn't always an expiration date when we see the date on a package of food. It can be, but the best by, use by, sell by date is a guarantee from the manufacturer that the food will still be the top quality, it won't have deteriorated in any way, and that's when you should eat it by that date. That doesn't mean that food is no longer safe or okay to eat. It may mean that the product has deteriorated some and maybe the quality isn't as fresh. There are a few tips of what you want to look for whenever you're opening food that is past its best by, use by, sell by date. You always want to inspect the can or package. Any can of food that's bulging, you need to throw it away. Anything that looks like it's been leaking, or if, say, a package of dried food looks like it's been chewed on, those foods should probably be discarded. Next, you want to open the can, make sure nothing spurts. If it spurts, throw it away. Look it over. Does it look right? Does it smell right? Is it still the same consistency? If so, it's probably safe to go ahead and try it. I normally don't store canned potatoes, but I do have a few, and I'm going to open these up now. You can see there's several years expired. The can looks okay. I'm opening it and it looks okay. They haven't turned to mush. They still have the same consistency of a boiled potato. So I'm going to use these up today. You can drain off your potatoes. I happen to have a few hard-boiled eggs. I can stir in some mustard, mayonnaise, some paprika, salt and pepper, and turn it into a simple potato salad. There are different ways to use your canned foods. Always be thinking about different ways you can use the foods that you're purchasing so that you don't end up with just a random food. You don't know how to use it, what it's for, and it ends up being wasted. Here's another outdated can of green beans. I've opened cans of green beans before that were long past the sell-by date and the beans looked blue. Unfortunately, I didn't take a picture of that, so I can't share it with you today. But let's go ahead and see how these look. The can looks fine, nothing is bulging, nothing looks like it's leaking, it's all intact. And when you go to open the can, nothing is spurting, so I'm going to open it all the way. Everything looks normal. It smells good and it looks fine. I'm going to drain the beans and you can see there's still the crispness that you would have. They haven't turned into mush and they're not discolored in any way. Maybe you want to heat them up and serve them with something for dinner, or toss a little Italian dressing in it, make a little easy bean salad. You can also add other ingredients to your beans to turn it into a nice, cool, refreshing summer dish like a tuna, green bean, and Italian dressing salad. Have different ideas of ways to use your food so that you have meal plans and the food isn't just languishing in the back because you don't know what it could go with. Here's a can of expired corn. The can looks fine. I don't see anything bulging, leaking. Let's open it. Nothing is spurting. It smells good, looks good. I can drain it off. The corn has a nice firm texture. It smells fine, it looks good, and it tastes fine too. Mix it in with your chili or a taco soup, or serve it as a vegetable alongside a meal. The best strategy is to pay attention to the dates on your food so that you use them, rotate them, and then replace them in the timeliness with their date. Don't buy foods you don't know how to cook, you don't want to eat, and that no one really likes, because it's a waste of your food storage dollars. Spend your grocery dollars carefully on foods that you do know how to use, your family is willing to eat, and then stock up on plenty so that you have enough going forward for a few weeks worth of food, a few months worth of food, and as much food as you can safely store and use in a reasonable amount of time. If you see a food you're not sure if you would like, buy one, take it home and try it. If you like it, you can always go back and get more. But don't load up on foods you've never tried only to find out that it's something that you don't care to eat. That's a waste of your food storage space and your dollars. The last few months have been hard on so many of us, trying to figure out what to do next, what's happening in the world, where are we going? What can we do to make sure that we are as safe as possible and we provided the things that we need to for ourselves and our families? It only makes sense to be prepared and not scared. These are all foods that we can eat, whether the world goes to a big, happy, peaceful place tomorrow or it doesn't. Plus, we never know. There's always the old standard emergencies: earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, winter storms, power outages. There's all kinds of things that can still go wrong. So having a nice supply of food on hand helps me make sure that I'll have the things I need and I can make the best of whatever situation comes my way. And that's why I'm a prepper. I want to be prepared to face an unknown future with the best of my ability. Stock up while you can, because we don't know what's coming, but I'm sure we're in for some interesting days ahead. If you like my video, I hope you'll share it with someone else you think might enjoy it. Learn more at AlaskaGranny.com, and please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.